Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new, then hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are back with another what to watch video. My last video has done really well and so many of you were like, yes, please do a film version of this. Could you please do a film version? So that is what we're doing today. If you haven't seen my last video, I will link that down below in the description box, but it's basically the exact same video as this, but with TV shows. So this video, as you can see by the title, is my top isolation films to watch. Films that are personally my favourite films, and I did that with a TV show version as well. And I've also done another 5 videos just in the past, nothing to do with this, of all my favourite TV shows, all the TV shows I've ever watched. So you have so much choice coming from me right now. But today we're going to be discussing films, which I actually haven't done on my channel before, and to be honest, I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and it just so happens that now is the perfect time to do one of these videos. So I have a list of my top 20 films, and it was so hard to narrow it down to 20 and then to put them in an order. I think it's really hard. Like I said at the start of my TV show one, please remember these are just my personal opinions. Please take it with a pinch of salt. Please don't attack me for not liking your favourite film or maybe not putting your film higher up on the list. But yeah, this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to get straight on into it to make sure I'm not rambling all too much. At number 20, I've decided to put Scott Pilgrim versus the World. If you haven't seen this, this is a Michael Cera film. Oh, good old Michael Cera. Now this film is a comedy slash romance slash comic book film. So all of it is in comic book form. It's not so much superhero-y, but it is superhero, but not your classic Marvel kind of superhero. So the whole film is filmed as if it is in a comic book. So you get the pow, the ka-chow like on the screen. Scott Pilgrim is played by Michael Cera, who is the most awkward but lovable actor ever, and he basically falls in love with this girl, and he needs to defeat all of his exes to be with this girl. But it's just full of comedy and really silly, stupid jokes that make you laugh, and it's just a good feel-good film. At number 19, we have another comedy film, and this is the End, which is again Michael Cera's in it. He's not in it that much, but he's in it. Seth Rogen's in it, Jonah Hill's in it. So many people are in this film. Rihanna's in it. Rihanna's in it. A stupidly funny film. I've watched this quite a few times because I just love to watch it. Backstreet Boys are in it. I mean, what else could you want? The premise of this film is so weird. So all the actors in it are themselves. They're all playing themselves. It's the end of the world. The end of the world is happening, and it's just the most stupid film. Right now, this is the kind of this is the end of the world type content we need. So I would definitely say give it a good watch because it's a good laugh. It's weird. James Franco, Dave Franco, trying to think of all those group of people were all in it. So it's one of those films, but it's not as crude as other Seth Rogen films have been in the past. At number 18, we have a light-hearted one. We've got Monsters Inc., which is a Disney film, obviously. If you don't know what Monsters Inc. is, I don't know what to say to you. We watched it recently and I forgot how good this film is. Like, honestly, so good. It's sweet. It's funny. It's actually really funny. If you have no idea what Monsters Inc. is though, they're a bunch of monsters where they basically are at work. They go through different doors into different children's bedrooms and scare them. The scares then power their village. So they have to keep going in, scaring them, taking the tank, using it for electricity and things like that. And that is kind of how they work their daily life. But then the main guy, Sully, accidentally lets a kid into their world, like an actual kid. Her name's Boo. Obviously the kid isn't meant to be there. He ends up just absolutely loving this kid and kind of fathering her in a way, but it's really lovely, so sweet. If you want something really lovely to watch, definitely watch Monsters Inc. It's an easy watch, it's a lovely watch. And then we're gonna go to the opposite side of lovely and sweet, and we've got number 17, American Psycho. A little bit of a 180 turn there. Me and Joey were having the conversation of what genre this falls under, because at the time when the film came out, we're pretty sure it would have come under just horror slash thriller, but as time has gone on it's become a little bit more comedy just because of how ridiculous some of the stuff is. Because we've both read the book, it's one of Joe's favourite books, so I started reading it. I loved the book, I thought it was great. I mean, it's very graphic. Maybe don't read the book if you're under the age of 18, that's for sure, and maybe don't watch this if you're under the age of 18. So American Psycho is about a middle-aged man, I think he's actually maybe a little bit younger than I think he is, called Patrick Bateman, and he works on Wall Street, and he is the vainest person ever. He is so incredibly vain, and that's like one of the main parts of humour in this film, is that he just loves himself. He loves himself so much. Patrick Bateman is a narcissist, but he's also awful. He's an awful, awful man. And I would just say, if you like a more artsy thriller type film, give American Psycho a watch if you haven't seen it and you're over the age of 18, because please don't watch it if you're under 18. Got number 16, I've put Midsummer. Now, I hate this film. I absolutely hate it, like so much, and you're probably thinking, then why have you put it in your top 20? Basically, I hated it so much, but I cannot stop thinking about it. I appreciate the film so much. It's an incredible film, like absolutely amazing, one of the best films I've ever seen, but I hated it. Florence Pugh is the main actress in it, and I love Florence Pugh, and it's an amazing film. It's set in Sweden in the summertime, so it's all bright and sunny and beautiful, but so dark. It's so incredibly dark. It's so incredibly harrowing. So Ari Aster is the director, and he's incredible what he does. Ari Aster says that this film is not a horror, but I would definitely put this in the category of probably horror, even though the director says it isn't. The start of this film is a girl who is with her boyfriend. She's very much in love with him, and he breaks up with her until her family, this is really, really dark by the way, her family are killed because her sister kills herself and her family at the same time, which is honestly one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in my life. The boyfriend then gets back together with her because he's like, well, I can't just leave her right now. They book a trip to Sweden to go to Midsummer, which is a festival in Sweden, and they wanted to do their report on it for uni kind of thing, and she's like, well, can I come with you? She wants to get away, obviously. They all go. It's not what they thought in any way, shape or form. I cried for like half an hour after the film had finished because I just couldn't believe what I just watched. It was an incredible film though, like absolutely incredible. The reason I'm saying you should watch this is because it is just a brilliant film. It's amazing. The only film actually on this list that has made me feel that anxious, or any kind of horror or any thriller or anything like that has made me feel, like actually feel that anxious, like I'm actually there, like I'm actually a part of it. And for that, I think it's great. Moving on from that, we have a slightly more nicer one. This is number 15, Moonrise Kingdom, which is a Wes Anderson film. His films are always so well done, so beautifully done. And the reason I've put Moonrise Kingdom at number 15 is because it just was the first Wes Anderson film I've ever seen, and it's my favourite one I've seen. It's sweet, it's so sweet. It's basically about this boy, he's in the Scouts and they go out on a little trip somewhere, and he runs away to be with his pen pal, who is a girl, and they run away together basically, and they try and live on their own, and they just kind of fall for each other, but in a 9, 10, 11-year-old kind of way. And it's just a very sweet film, and the rest of the film is just people trying to find them. So well shot, so well edited, so well just everything about it. Definitely give it a watch if you like something sweet and something light, because this is the one for you. At number 14, I've put Tangled down, which is another Disney animation film. It is about a girl called Rapunzel who's trapped up in a tower and she can't leave, and she's got really long hair. You know the story, everyone knows the story of Rapunzel. Her parents, who are the king and queen of their little kingdom are looking for their daughter and have been for years. It's her 18th birthday, I believe. She's always wanted to see the lights, which are loads and loads of lanterns that are let off every year for her birthday by her parents, who are the king and queen, but she doesn't know that because this woman had taken her from her parents so she could use her hair to keep her looking younger, which seems ridiculous, but that's because it's a Disney film. And then we're really doing a 180 turn on this one. At number 13, we have Donnie Darko, which is a dark film, very much a dark film. It will sound really bizarre as I'm trying to explain this to you. So, Donnie Darko is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who is a very, very good actor, but it's basically about this guy who has some mental health issues. I know it already sounds very problematic, but trust me, this is a very, very good film. And he forgets to take his medication. And because he stops taking his medication, he goes on sleepwalks. And he gets visited by a bunny called Frank. Sounds ridiculous already, but Frank is a human man dressed as a weird looking rabbit. And this rabbit tells him in 28 days and so many minutes and hours and seconds, the world will end unless he does something about it. So he starts sleepwalking more, and as he's out, a jet falls onto his bedroom, like a jet from a plane falls onto his bedroom, and if he wasn't sleepwalking, he would be dead. Which starts this whole thing of him sleepwalking, not really knowing what he's doing, and this Frank bunny thing is always behind him, kind of edging him on, or talking to him, or just kind of watching him. That's kind of the ish of Donnie Darko. Watch a trailer, probably will tell you a lot more than me trying to explain that a bunny comes to see a man in his bedroom, but that's kind of the most I can say about it without spoiling anything. At number 12, I have Us, which is a thriller slash home invasion type film. This has some incredible acting in it, like throughout the whole thing. The acting is amazing. Like every single person you see plays two versions of themselves as well. How it starts is one of the kids runs off from her family and goes into this carnival tent on a beach. They're at a fun fair, and she goes through and she sees a mirror maze. She goes through the mirror maze, she sees herself, she's like doing the normal thing, and then the one behind in the mirror, the classic horror film thing, doesn't do the same thing she does. But it turns out that everyone has this double that are evil. The family that you are following is then followed by their doubles. They're standing outside on the driveway wanting to come in. They're not saying anything, they're not moving, they're just stood holding hands. And then a lot of stuff that happens. I'm not going to say any more than that. Just, again, watch the trailer to any of these if you think it sounds quite interesting, but you're not quite sure, because I'm not the best at explaining things. But that's kind of the premise of Us in a way, but it's very much a thriller. There's a lot of chasing, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of twists and turns, and you never really know what's going to happen. At number 11, we're doing a 180 turn again. It's really, really, really hard putting these into a top 20 just because of how different all these films are. This is Love, Rosie, which is our first romance film. Yay! I like a good romance. Love, Rosie is a romance film with Lily Collins and Sam Claflin Finnick from The Hunger Games. It's about this girl, Rosie. She's been in love with her best friend her whole life and vice versa kind of thing. And the whole film is just about them missing each other, and they should be together, but they're not together. That kind of rom-com. It's really lovely. It's a very, very sweet film. I absolutely love it. I've seen it so many times because I really like it. And we are now into the top 10 of my films. These are the ones that I truly love with all my heart. So at number 10, I've got down Beautiful Boy, which I've only actually recently watched, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's our first film with Timothée Chalamet. Beautiful Boy is about a boy, a son of a dad who is addicted to drugs, and the dad is trying to help him come off of them. Dad is played by Steve Carell, which is so weird because obviously he's usually a comedy type actor, but he's actually doing something very serious and he's very, very good. And then Timothée Chalamet is the son. It's based off of real life. The dad and the son have both written books about it, and it's just about that journey of trying to get him better and the help he needed at a very young age. It's a really, really sad film. Like, it's 100% a sad film. You feel for both sides of it all. It's very, very sad, but a very, very good film. Like, I watched it and didn't look away from the screen for even a second because I was so into it. At number 9, I have possibly one of my favourite kind of horrors, Cabin in the Woods. If you've never seen Cabin in the Woods, you need to go see it. It's a brilliant film. It's so clever, it's so good. I put this as a comedy horror, but it's not in the same category as something like Scream. Cabin in the Woods starts off as your typical horror film. A group of friends go to the woods. They go to a cabin in the woods to stay there for the night, and it starts off as your very typical horror film, but then there is a plot twist, and I'm not going to tell you it because that will spoil the whole entire thing, but there's a plot twist which makes this film very clever and really, really good. I have watched this multiple times. I watch it every single Halloween because it's one of the only Halloween horror type films I will watch again and again and again. If you want to start getting into horror films or you're not really sure which horror film to start with, Cabin in the Woods is the one. It's perfect. It's full of comedy. It has brilliant plot twists. It's not too scary, like, in any way, shape or form. It's just a brilliant overall film. At number 8, we have an absolute classic of Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. I had to put this on my top 10 list because this was my life when I was younger. I could watch this and tell you every single word Georgia says. Any word that Aaron Johnson says. I could tell you all the words throughout the whole entire film because I've watched it that much. Every sleepover, Angus Thongs Perfect Snogging. Anytime I was alone, Angus Thongs Perfect Snogging. The books, I read them all. The film, I watched a million times. It was perfect. So it's about this girl called Georgia who thinks she's not a perfect person. She thinks her nose is too big. She thinks she's too ugly. And she's a part of a group of friends who are all really lovely, a typical girl group when you're at school, and they all get on really, really well. And one of the topics they talk about a lot is boys, obviously. Girls love talking about boys. It's all about Georgia falling in love with this new guy who's Aaron Johnson, which, by the way, was my first ever crush because that film, oh, he was gorgeous. He still is. And it's a film basically about her getting his attention. Kind of just your typical romantic comedy with teenagers. It's a perfect one though, absolutely brilliant. At number 7, we have our last Disney film, which is Moana. Oh, what an amazing Disney film. Honestly, the best Disney film, clearly, as I've said in my list. Moana is again an animation Disney princess film. She's not a princess in any way, but princess film. Moana lives on an island with her mum and dad and everyone else on the island. One day she'll be in charge of the island, so she needs to work her way onto it. However, they're not allowed in the ocean. They're just not allowed. But Moana always finds herself back at the ocean. She always wants to go into the ocean, and one day she goes out and explores because she wants to. And then there is obviously the Disney style of there's a curse and you're trying to fight your way through it and stuff like that. So it is just a really, really lovely Disney film. I think personally it's the best Disney film. It's the best thought out. It has the best storyline. The songs are brilliant in them because Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote them, who is the producer, performer of Hamilton, which is an amazing musical. At number 6, we have Little Woman, which is again a film that has recently come out. It was actually nominated for the Oscars. But Little Woman is a period drama. Now, I don't like period dramas. I'm not a fan of period dramas in any way, but I just adored this film. We saw it in the cinema and I just cried the whole time because I really, really liked it a lot. This has Saoirse Ronan, Timothée Chalamet, Florence Pugh. It's got so many good actors in it. Little Woman, I'm sure you probably know of it because it's been redone a million times. Little Woman is about this family who is a mum and a dad and all of their girls. So they've got 4 girls and they are the Little Woman. But the whole thing is a period drama, but there is so much romance in it. They are not very wealthy. They're not wealthy people, but they live near Timothée Chalamet, who is a wealthy guy. He lives in a big house and they become friends with him. There is a lot of love and romance, and it's just a very, very good watch. It's a lovely watch. It's so heartwarming and heartfelt and beautiful. Everyone was acting amazingly in it. And even if you don't like period dramas, please give this film a go. Finally, we're on to our top 5. I feel like I've been talking for years. At number 5, we have another Oscar film and an Oscar winner. We have Parasite, which is again a new film. I'm never going to be able to explain this film at all. I don't want to, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, because I went in it not knowing what it was at all, other than it won Best Picture at the Oscars, and I wanted to see it because everyone said it was so good. I had no idea what it was about, not a single clue, and I loved it. It was brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. Please don't look at it and think, well, it's not in English, I don't want to watch it. Please don't do that, because it's an amazing film, and just reading subtitles shouldn't put you off of watching it. Honestly, I forgot I was reading subtitles while I was watching it, because you just get used to it. I ended up just like hearing what they were saying, but reading it. I didn't even know what to put it in genre-wise, because it's a little bit of everything. It's got a lot of comedy in it, it's got the smallest bit of romance in it, it's got a little bit of horror, it's got a little bit of thriller, got a little bit of drama, got a little bit of everything you can possibly think of. It's in this film. It's about a poor family who are trying to get their way into this rich family's house by working for them. So being their maid or their tutor or their driver kind of thing. And they're a family working together to get into this house without this rich family knowing that they are a family themselves. And that's kind of as much as I can possibly tell you. Again, watch the trailer, because I don't want to spoil anything. It's just very, very good, very well done. You can completely see why this won Best Picture, because it was incredible, like absolutely incredible. And like I said, please don't let subtitles put you off of watching this film. At number 4, we have one of my absolute favourites, It. It is Pennywise the Clown, that kind of It. This is, to me, a perfect comedy horror. Pennywise, to me personally, is the best horror villain type creature thing ever. So It, if you've never heard of it, is a horror film, very clearly a horror film, a little bit of comedy throughout it, but it's a bunch of kids who grow up in Derry, which is just a little town. Every 27 years, a bunch of kids just randomly go missing, and the kids that we are following are in that 27 years apart where the kids of their friends are going missing, and they soon discover Pennywise. Pennywise is a clown, a very terrifying clown, but can transform into pretty much anything possible. So anything you're scared of, Pennywise can turn into. And it's all about these kids trying to defeat Pennywise. The acting from these kids is amazing. The kids, they have a second film as well where the kids are grown up and older, and it's honestly just not as good not having the kids in it. It's still a very good film, but it's not as good as the younger kids in it. At number 3, we're into our top 3 now, is Perks of Being a Wallflower. I adore this film. I've watched it so many times, it's ridiculous. I just love it so, so much. Perks of Being a Wallflower is based off a book, which I have also read. I think I prefer the film to the book, which is a very controversial thing to say. So this film is set in the 90s. It's about this boy who's quite sad, quite lonely, at high school, finally finding friends that he feels comfortable with. Definitely a coming of age / romance. There's a lot of romance in it. It's a beautiful film. It's also very, very sad at times, but it is just overall a good film, and somehow made Come On Eileen come back into the charts years later. But he's also had a bit of a troubled past, so that also comes into it. A little bit of mental health comes into it and things like that. So If you want to watch it, just bear in mind it is a little bit sad and it does cover the topics of mental health, but it is a brilliant film and a very, very, very good watch. At number 2, we have Call Me By Your Name, which is actually a film I hadn't watched until a few months ago. But Call Me By Your Name is Timothée Chalamet. Again, wiggled his way back into another film. He's just everywhere I look now. Call Me By Your Name is a coming of age romance kind of film. So Call Me By Your Name is set in the 80s in Italy, and it's about this young boy who is kind of discovering himself. He's learning about himself, just full of romance, the whole entire thing. And this guy comes to live with him and his family to work with his dad, and they get very, very close. I actually didn't know anything going into this film. I knew absolutely nothing, and I kind of liked it because I was surprised by it. There is a peach scene though, if you know the scene I mean. But overall, a beautiful, stunning, incredible, amazing film that if you like a romance film, you need to watch it. Even if you don't like a romance film, please go watch it. Finally, we're at number 1. I feel like I have talked for hours and hours and hours. Number 1, we have Hereditary, which is again a Ari Aster film, and this is my favourite film. I loved this film when I saw it. Like, absolutely loved it so much. It's horrific. It is a horror film again, but Ari Aster doesn't like to say it's a horror film. He likes to say it's a family drama. I can guarantee you it's not your typical family drama if it is. Hereditary. Right, where do I start with this without, again, giving anything away? It's about this family. There's a older brother, there's a younger sister. The younger sister does this a lot. And she's a little bit weird. The brother doesn't really want to do anything with her. He doesn't really want to be a part of her life. He is driving her somewhere, and then something absolutely tragic happens, like horrific happens, and I can't really tell you anything other than that because that's when the whole story completely changes. But it is a full-on horror type film. There's a little bit of possession, there's a little bit of blood and gore. It's ridiculous how good this film is though. But once again, like Midsummer, Ari Aster is just a very, very good director, and it's a very, very good film. Obviously, it's my number 1 for a reason, and I want to know if you guys have also seen it. But if you do want to see it, watch the trailer if you kind of want to get a gist of what might be the vibe of the film, just because I can't actually explain it because it will spoil it, which is a shame because I'd love to talk about the whole thing with you guys. We have made it through my top 20 films that you should watch during isolation, and honestly, it's dark outside. I've been filming for maybe an hour and a half, but thank you if you stuck with me this whole entire time. Thank you, and I really, really, really hope this helps in any way, shape or form to find something to watch. Tell me down below your top 5 films of all time. Let me know. I'd love to know what you guys also like to watch because films is so much more broad. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I can definitely do another video like this where I just name you like 100 films to watch during this time. I don't explain them, I just name them and what kind of genre they're under. If you'd like that, let me know down below as well. And also hit the subscribe button because I upload quite a few times on this channel and it just lets you know when I've uploaded a new video. And if you want to see any other film type videos as well, let me know because I can definitely do that. But yeah, I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I talk so much. If you got this far, please let me know because well done to you. I really hope you guys are staying safe, staying inside. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope this helps with some of your boredom or the spare time that you have while you're inside. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I shall see you again very soon.